Go ahead.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Today is Thursday, May 5. Welcome to the Manhattan Community Board 3 Health, Seniors, Human Services, Youth Education, Human Rights Committee meeting. My name is May Lee, and I am the committee chair. Okay, so before we start the meeting, I will hand it over to Larissa Shainberg, who will explain some of the procedures of the meeting.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for attending Community Board Health and Human Services Subcommittee. Please be advised that tonight's meeting is being recorded. At this time, we welcome all non-board members to sign in via the chat box with your name and affiliation, if you do have an affiliation, so that we can accurately track our attendance for tonight's meeting. Tonight, our chat will be used solely for sign-in, materials distribution, and technical difficulties. So if you are experiencing any technical issues or have materials that you would like to distribute, please reach out to the facilitator and they will assist you. There will be a point in the meeting where the chair may recognize members of the public to speak. There will be a 2-minute limit on the speaking, and there will be a timer that will be up for you on your screen, so you know how much time you have left. We do ask that you remain muted unless you are recognized to speak. Thank you and welcome to the
Okay, okay, so we'll start. And just to add a little bit more to what Larissa is saying, in terms of members of the public, you will have an opportunity to speak not way in the beginning of the meeting as you may have be used to during full board, but it'll be more like at a point during the agenda time. So I'll let you know when that is. Okay, so before we get started, we're going to have the roll call, and our secretary, Thomas Rosa, will take the roll. And we'll also be, well, before we do the roll call, let's look at the minutes. I emailed the minutes to all of you. And are there any changes to the minutes? That would be the minutes of the last month's meeting. Committee members, if you have changes, please raise your hand. Oh, Deborah Glass.
Hi, it's just one small typo. It's just a tiny little thing in the section, the letter of support for council members 8-point mental health plan. It's in the last paragraph before we hope you continue promoting the plan. You have in addition twice in that paragraph.
Okay, thank you. Already got sent out. I hope it didn't get sent out like that, but maybe they will understand. Thank you, Deborah, though. Okay, I don't see any other hands raised. And so we'll just add that correction to the minutes, and it is deemed approved. So we'll have the roll call. Thomas?
May Lee?
Here.
Thomas, present. Larissa?
present.
David?
Present.
Eric? Eric Diaz?
Oh, he's not coming. He's on vacation.
Shirley Fennessy? Shirley, are you with us?
No.
No, I mean, she's supposed to be coming. She said yesterday she was, but she doesn't seem to be here now.
Deborah?
Present.
Alicia?
Present.
Laura, did Laura make it yet? No. Heidi?
Yes.
Ricky?
No, he's not coming.
Okay. And Carmen?
She should be on her way, but apparently she's not here yet.
Thank you.
All right, so we will get started.
Shirley just came.
Okay, Charlie, you with us?
I see that she's signed in and she's on mute. Shirley Fennessy.
I'm here. Sorry.
Thank you, Shirley. We got you for the attendance. Appreciate
Okay,
it.
great. Thank you.
You made it just in time.
Okay, thank you, everyone. So our first agenda item will be a presentation from Housing Works. I think Van Asher is here. It is concerning their needle kiosk program in Tompkins Square Park and Sarah D. Roosevelt Park. As some of you committee members recall, I think it was last fall, maybe in about September, when they just came to present to us about their program in general. They have needle kiosks in many different sites, some disclosed and some undisclosed in the CB3 area. So I think there have been some new sites set up, but they're here today just to give a report on the progress of the program. And so he'll speak first, and then also there is some, I think, new sites in Sarah D. I'm not sure if it's new or not that new, but we also have with us Kay Webster, who is the president of the Sarah D. Roosevelt Park Community Coalition. And she's been there, since they've been there since the 90s. So we will also hear a little bit from her just about that park itself, vis-a-vis the needle program, the kiosk program. Okay, so Van Asher, you can take it away.
Hi, good evening, everyone, and thank you for having us. Just to give a little of my brief history, I've been working too and started addressing the syringe litter issues then. So this is nothing new, but now we're doing it better. Tompkins Square Park actually had a kiosk in the park for about 20 years, which was badly disintegrated. And I was talking to Susan about our wanting to put one in, and she put me in touch with Mark Vakarov Parks to see about replacing theirs and actually putting better ones in. I have a team of community navigators that's been doing syringe litter sweeps within the community. It's a new team I put together to address the issue because, as many of you know, it has worsened during COVID, as many other things have. So I spoke with Mark and we ended up putting 3 large kiosks in Sarah D. Roosevelt Park and 1 big one in Tompkins with 2 small ones, 1 in each of the comfort stations. And just in the past 2 months, to give you a little feedback, the first month we picked up 28 pounds of syringe litter. And last month, which just ended, we picked up 51 pounds of syringe litter. In the 3 months prior to picking them up, my team, before their installation, had picked up about 100 pounds through the outlying parks and neighborhood. And so the kiosks are a really good health intervention. And these are syringes that aren't being discarded in the parks and playgrounds or ending up in trash cans. And this is interventions that I've done elsewhere. I've been in the field for 30 years. And it's things that have been recreated from other cities. So that's really what I wanted to say about this. It's a great public intervention. It's been very successful. We're asking people were afraid, especially with what's been going on with the police sweeps, which I understand you're going to address, about using them. But the police have been very supportive about this. And it's I think it's been going really well thus far. I understand some people are opposed to it because I think it's just I'm open to any questions and willing to answer any when we come to that portion of the meeting. And I'd like to keep it short so we have time for other agenda items. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, can you just talk a little bit about the park and the program?
Sure.
I want to say that the coalition has been here for a long time. As May said, I myself lived on Forsyth Street in the late 70s until 1990, until I moved to the Bowery. So I'm very familiar with the area for a number of years. So for us, we requested needle kiosks because of the situation in the park. It was very important to us. I checked in with all our volunteer gardening groups. The Mafinda Kalunga Garden wants to discuss this Sunday, and I think they might want a kiosk nearer to that garden. We have volunteer gardeners in the Hester Street area, Pam Ito of the Hort, South Delancey area is Grand Street is myself and the 5th Precinct's Youth Explorers and other coalition volunteers, and the Waimea Bird Sanctuary members. Around the BRC, we have Rob Watson and other volunteers. We lost Audubon, New York during the pandemic. And the Mafinda Kalunga Garden and Tessa Huxley and formerly Thelma Pridgeon used to take care of the Houston to Stanton area. So the volunteer gardeners cover the entire park and do a great job. I also did check in with a number of Parks Department employees just because I always like to know how is this working in practice. And every group, all of them said it has greatly reduced the needles that they were finding in the plots. And it's less dangerous for us. And we do have younger people with the police 5th Precinct. And it's a great opportunity to teach people about needle removal, but having the kiosk there means that we have less possibility of people being stuck while they're taking care of cleaning out a park. And our work is very close to the ground. So that has been really helpful to us. And I also have to say that not having them in the trash also protects the other park workers who regularly collect the trash. So for us, it has been really useful. And again, I am eager to hear, talk to anybody, we'll meet anybody who wants to talk about it in the park and other suggestions for the park. Very open to hearing that and hearing what people's thoughts are.
Okay, thank you, Kay. So now I'm just gonna take any comments or questions from the committee members. You should raise your hand. Shirley Fantasy, and then
yeah,
Deborah
so-
Glass. Yeah, Shirley, go
So I
ahead.
would, so my daughter is 16 and she has an internship with the Parks Department. So I wholeheartedly agree with the fact that this needs that these dispensary disposaries should be available, and it's a big health risk for all of the people who volunteer and work in the parks. So I would just second what you're saying, Kay. And I'm 100% for this.
Okay, great. Deborah Glass.
I'm, as a long-standing member of the Mafinda Kalunga Garden, I wholeheartedly agree. I know that there are, oftentimes needles get thrown over the fence or they're dropped wherever. Even when the garden was closed, we were finding needles all along the sides. And so having a place, having the kiosk there has been enormously helpful for the folks who are spending time picking up and cleaning those and taking care of the plots. Thank you.
Susan Stetzer. Oh, you should put on your mic, Susan.
Okay, I just want to give a huge thank you to Housing Works. We tried with parks for years to get the Tompkins Square kiosk replaced and to get new ones in SDR. And we just couldn't get it done. And then we finally got an okay, but we still couldn't get the kiosks. And if it weren't for Housing Works actually providing the kiosks and the maintenance, it wouldn't be happening. So they're great community partners, and I just want to say thank you.
Okay, good. Shirley, did you put your hand up again? Or is that from before?
From before, sorry.
Okay, Van, Asher?
And I just wanted to say, I'm going to put my email in the chat. And if anyone sees any syringe litter in the community that's not in a kiosk, please email me and I'll dispatch my team to go clean it up. Because we know that not every syringe is going to end up in a kiosk, which is why I created this. I call it the Syringe Outreach Response Team. So I have 3 part-time workers that are 35 hours a week to go into the community with peers to address the additional syringe litter, as well as to maintain and clean out the kiosks.
Okay, great. Okay, so yeah, you can put it in the chat, and I think Larissa has to pass it on.
Be able to share it with everyone. Thank you, Van.
Okay. Okay, before I see a member of the public raising their hand, but just before, I also see, so I see you, John Mudd, but before we get to you, I also see a couple of non-committee, CB3 members, but not on the committee. If you have anything to say, please raise your hand. Although it looks like you don't. Okay, so, okay, next, John. So there's a 2-minute time limit.
I got that. We work with Housing Works in Midtown, and they're excellent partners there as well. And we of course get a huge amount going there. And we have a limited supplies. It's been hard for us to get more and more people accepted, but I don't see how anybody cannot. It's a cleanup basically, and they're really on it, and we appreciate them very much.
Okay. Well, that was under the 2 minutes. Although the clock is starting now, I think. Okay, so
will you give me those extra minutes later?
Yes, you can. Okay. All right. Okay, it looks like we don't have anything else on that, and there will be a phone number in the chat for those who want to contact Housing Works directly about this program. Okay. All right, so we're just going to move on to the next item, which will probably take us a little longer. It is about the homeless sweeps that that have been happening fairly regular, on a more frequent basis now, especially in our area. We do have a couple of speakers. Is that correct, Susan? From Chris Marte's office and from Councilmember Rivera's office?
Correct.
Okay. I know that the Progressive Coalition, of which the 2 council members are a member of the City Council Progressive Coalition, have the Progressive Coalition has written a statement, and our 2 City Council members are members of the Progressive Coalition. And I think we recently heard Carlina Rivera has a statement. But first, let's hear from our City Council members regarding the homeless sweeps. Jennifer, since your mic seems to be.
Yes. Hi,
so we have
everyone.
Jennifer Chow from Chris Marte's office.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jennifer, and I'm from Councilmember Christopher Marte's office, as was just mentioned. Chris is definitely against the sweeps. People who live on the streets are often there and not in a shelter because they don't trust the shelter system to begin with. And on top of that, they don't trust the city to protect them and give them the services that are needed. So by throwing out their belongings against their will and destroying their shelter and the only things that they own, without them even accepting a new place to live, the city is just creating a bigger division between and like ruining the trust of like our constituents and the city. And then there's no way that throwing out people's possessions should be allowed. And we do need social services providers who will build the relationships with people who live on the street. And it's not an immediate solution, but neither is throwing out people's only shelter.
Okay. Okay, so let's hear from, I'm not sure who's,
Iraq,
from-
Iraq is here.
oh, hi, Ira.
Hello, that's me. Yeah, sorry, I'm not usually here, but I'm so happy to experience Community Board 3. Just subbing for Isabel. So thank you so much for having me. I'm here representing Council Member Carolina Rivera. Like many of you here, Carolina and our office have witnessed the violent and productive and inhumane sweeps on the area surrounding Tompkins Square, starting on April 6th, and then a couple more times through the last month, and especially yesterday. So earlier today, additionally to the statement that the Progressive Caucus sent, we sent out a letter that I sent you, Susan. If we can share it with the rest of the people here, would be great. In the letter, we're demanding the mayor to end these dehumanizing sweeps of homeless encampments in our community and through our New York City. And we're asking him to follow the blueprint New York City Council has laid out on the fiscal year 2023 preliminary budget response, which asks for the expansion of supportive and affordable housing to $4 billion, invest $260 million to increase the provision of homeless services and housing solutions, among other asks. So please, if you want to inform yourself more of this letter, you can read it in detail. Our team is looking forward to partnering with Community Board 3 to put an end to these ineffective sweeps, and instead having the city commit to supportive and investing in the policies and programs our communities deserve. The council must hold an oversight hearing to demand accountability and transparency for this administration, and we're gonna follow up with the proper chairs of the proper committees in the council. If you have any questions or feedback, please, I'm happy to receive it, and I will relay it to the Community Board 3 liaison, which is Isabel Chandler. And if there's anything I can answer, I will do it here as well. So thank you so much for having me.
Okay, I don't know if you want, we were planning to screen share the letter, but did you want to drop a link in the, is there a link, did you want to drop a link to it and people can just read it later?
Yeah, definitely.
Or I guess maybe we
do that, and yeah, I'll figure it out, and I'll do that. Give me 1 second.
Okay. Yeah. So so committee members, I know some of our actually community board members have expressed dismay at this. Many people have been dismayed by this. So we may want to also write a letter or pass a resolution about these sweeps. And we do have committee members do have a draft of something to consider tonight. So would we like to look at the draft now or hear more? We can look at the draft and hear more. We can do it in either order. We
can look at the draft.
Okay. All right, so committee members already have it. It's in the email that was sent this morning, because the first one was a little there was a lot of typos, and the language was a little it was written very late. So the last one that was sent at 7 o'clock is it, if you want to look at your email, but we will also screen share it and we'll read it out loud to those who haven't seen it yet. Oh, Thomas, are you able to do that?
Yes, I'm pulling it up right now.
Okay.
May I apologize while that's being pulled up? We did miss one question on the kiosks. Can I have the members send the question to you in the chat, or if I could just ask it for the member?
Oh, yeah. You mean they sent a written chat?
Member of the public, she had her hand up before we on, but I do have a question in the chat from one of the members.
But we're not using the chat for questions, right?
No.
Yeah, we're not using the chat for questions.
No, but just ask if we could pass it on since she didn't get a chance to ask.
Is it directed at Van Asher? Is it a
it's
question
just
for him?
where the kiosks are located in the park.
Okay, yeah, I think you can pass it on to him.
Okay.
Sure.
Also, his phone number and his email is
Yeah,
in
phone
the
up, yeah,
chat, so
so
they can contact him also.
Susan, so yes, they're in the chat. So if you want to copy those from the chat and reach out to Dan, that'd be great.
He's
Sure.
still here.
Yep,
Yeah.
I'm here. And in Tompkins Square, there's a larger one that would be on the
Okay.
equivalent.
Oh, so Van. Oh,
They can contact you.
Oh, okay, I'm
so
sorry.
you'll talk on the side, okay?
Give me a call.
Offline. Okay.
All right, May, if you're ready, I can put up the draft.
Okay.
I just need the permission for that, Larissa.
Oh.
There you go. Go right ahead.
Thanks. Thanks for your patience, everyone.
Okay, so this is it. Thomas, could you read it out loud, or do you want me to
Sure.
read it?
No problem.
Okay.
My mic is still on, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Whereas Mayor Adams in March and April 2022 launched aggressive sweeps against very vulnerable homeless people in Community District 3, Manhattan, primarily in Tompkins Square Park and east of the park at 605 East 9th Street. Whereas these sweeps employ tactical response police teams against the unhoused, tents are thrown into sanitation trucks and possessions are destroyed. Unhoused people who do not move have been arrested. Some of the outreach workers who are on site to offer services are not experienced workers at the same level of Manhattan Outreach Consortium staff and do not have access to street smart information to know if the person is on case management, ready to move into shelter, or has specific issues. This violent action can seriously set back work already done with an unhoused person. Whereas these sweeps that employ tactical response police teams appear to be aggressive actions against the most vulnerable population with the objective of not having these people visible to the public. Whereas outreach workers report these sweeps cause unhoused people to distrust city workers, cause some of the people to move to other areas of the community, resulting in time wasted and locating those who may be on case management and progressing towards accepting services and shelter. Whereas CB3 hears from the police and outreach workers that most adults living on the street are afraid to accept beds and congregate shelters because they are perceived as unsafe. Outreach workers say it can take several months for a bed to become available once a person agrees to accept the bed in a 1 or 2 person unit in a safe haven in the community. At the same time, the city has just withdrawn plans for 2 safe havens in and near CD3 that would increase beds and services in our community. Whereas these are solutions and strategies to end homelessness, field mental health and or harm reduction is done along with outreach, transitional housing with services and permanent affordable housing, a focus on providing needed services and housing to people experiencing homelessness, not on aggressively causing trauma and distress. Therefore, be it resolved, CB3 would like the city and the Department of Homeless Services to work and coordinate with CB3 to provide much needed services to people experiencing street homelessness in CD3.
Okay, so thank you, Thomas. Could you unshare your screen?
Sure.
So yeah, so this is the draft reso we would vote on, and if it's passed, it eventually would be sent to DHS and all the elected officials in the city. But first of all, any discussion from committee members? Please raise your hand. Any changes or what you think of it? I'm sorry, I need to. Susan and, okay, Susan?
Okay, so
Well-
this is my mistake where it says the 2 times it says tactical response, it should stay strategic response. And then also the second last paragraph, I think that last line, there's just something missing from it. A word, maybe a word missing or something. Is somebody editing this?
Yes, I just added
Okay,
strategic response,
super.
and
Yeah.
I'm looking towards the end.
Yeah, I should probably open it up.
I'm sorry, I'm just having a.
Something about unaggressively or something like that.
Okay, yeah, okay, I see Olympia's there, but Olympia, if you could wait a minute for the committee members. David Crane.
It's just a grammatical thing. There was the paragraph about the shelters that won't be happening, the safe, it says blah, blah, that would increase, and it should have said would have increased because they won't be doing that now. So insert the word have in that little clause, that would have increased.
Could I add one more thing?
Yeah.
Based on Iraq's presentation, perhaps the committee wants to consider also supporting city council and having an oversight hearing.
Oh, okay, are they planning on it?
It's a question.
Jennifer or Iraq?
So it's not that we don't know if there's planning, but we're gonna definitely lobby our colleagues on that because we think it's needed and we know that concern is general throughout the city. So I do think if we get the support with your ask, we can incentivize other community boards to do the same, and that will lead to the much needed hearing.
Okay, so that can be an additional whereas the New York City Council should have an oversight hearing on this issue. Is that the correct way to say it?
Well, we should say also, therefore be resolved that we support the city council to hold an oversight hearing.
Okay, that sounds better. I currently do not see any committee members with their hands raised. If you, because I'm about to call on the other community board members. So committee members, if you have anything, can you please raise your hand?
Since I'm host, I can't raise
Oh,
my hand,
okay.
so physically raising my hand. Hi.
Okay,
I don't know, I think I was looking over this as far as the language goes. Can I propose a change to the paragraph that starts, whereas the current sweeps employing tactical response? I know the last part of that whereas is not having these people visible to the public. I don't know if that's really the goal or if it's something that we want to highlight. I think really what it's doing is forcing the homeless and the unhoused to accept services that are not appropriate or accept services that are not beneficial. So would that be a better way to, no? I'm seeing Susan shake her head.
yeah, Susan.
I think what we're saying is that the purpose of doing these sweeps by the mayor is to not have people visible on the street. It is not about being concerned about people having services.
Well, but by taking their possessions, their tents, what they're sleeping under, what have you, they may have no choice but to select, to take
they're
what's
not.
being offered. No, okay.
But
They're not being offered,
Okay.
yeah.
They're not
It's not.
accepting. They're not accepting. They're just moving to another place on the street.
Yeah, so there's an
Okay.
intended purpose and there are a lot of consequences, impacts, which don't meet the intended purpose at all. Or okay, if I don't, okay, then I'm going to move on to the community board member, Olympia Kazi.
Thank you, May. So, first of all, thank you for adding it to the agenda. As you know, I live on 9th Street and I have experienced firsthand the sweeps that are very distressing and dehumanizing. And one thing that I wanted to clarify is the city council has said repeatedly that they do not want, these sweeps. And so I feel that it would be strong for us as a community board member, I'm here to add language to the resolution. So I don't think I have 2 minutes to add language. And in fact, I asked if you can share by open meeting law the resolution. This way I can give language, unless you want me to study it and do it at the full board meeting.
Actually, no, Larissa, you don't have to timer. It's just the members of the public who are being timed.
And if it's possible, if you can share the language, because so 2 things I wanted to comment. One is I believe we should send our letter to the mayor directly as the CP3 and say that we also denounce it. And that doesn't need to have endorsement of, the oversight hearing for city council. It doesn't regard the mayor. It's a different, government body. So we can write a separate letter to the city council speaker and say that, yes, we want you to have more oversight hearings around this. But the other thing that I wanted to add is right now, I was just downstairs and I was talking with a police officer. The last time after the sweep they did on April 20th, they left a car with a blinking siren and an idling agent for 24 hours. This time around, they are staying over 24 hours. So I was talking with the police officers and they said, this time they told us is unlimited. So what is happening is in front of the soup kitchen on Trinity Church that is across from Charas, there is now a police car with a blinking siren 24/7. And this has had already a deterring effect to people who usually access the soup kitchen there. Their attendance was significantly decreased today already. So I believe if we send this as a letter to the mayor, we should add a whereas around the issue that they leave these police cars there and how they have further detrimental effects, including, frankly, fear. Like my kids keep asking, what happened, mommy? Why is the police blinking in front of us all night long,
So there's an immediate issue and then there's a question of something being passed by the board, which takes a whole month.
I mean, I'm happy to add language to this letter that I'm assuming we're going to pass at the full board, right? Or will
Yeah, right. Yeah, it would be something that we would bring to full board. So it was originally written as a letter format. I mean, but then we switch it to the Rezo format, and everything does get sent, right, Susan? To the mayor's.
We don't send everything to the mayor, but the intention on this one was absolutely to send it to the mayor. It was to send it, I believe, to the mayor and DHS commissioner and copy all the elected officials. So the letter can still do that, and it could still have, and just include the speaker in there and still say we support the oversight hearing.
Yes. Yeah, go ahead, Susan.
So Olympia and I actually talked this afternoon about this really bad situation. And I suggested that that the church contact me. I think we should be dealing with it right away, and I'm happy to deal with the precinct and go above to deal with it. I don't think we should put specifics. There's probably a million horrible specifics, and I think it dilutes the concern about the policy to start dealing with individual things. I think we should deal with the individual issue immediately.
Yeah, Susan, I agree with
Wait, we're not having a cross conversation, right?
Okay, so can I clarify one point?
Wait, I'm sorry, I'm just
Okay, so,
be
okay.
respectful to May. I want to be respectful to May to let her call on people.
Yeah, so I think, yeah, we want the reso to address more of this policy. This has become a policy, and it was announced as a policy, and it's going to happen in other areas. I know it happened, like there's one in Chinatown, on Eldridge Street that they did once, and people don't accept services, so, but the one in the East Village it's happened more often, and it's been in the news more. So I do agree. I think what you're describing, Olympia, is really disturbing. These these blinking cars out there 24 hours. And if Susan can just help to immediately, say, put a stop to that, that would help relieve like an immediate problem. But and the reso is like a whole month ahead, but I don't know if you want to wait a whole month just for that, so you need something right now, I think, as well.
Yeah, so if I can clarify, I think as part of the sweeps, they have this rule, part of the sweep, that they stay there, right? So I am assuming that if we tell them that that's something we do not wish to happen, I already mentioned it, by the way, Susan, to the new, not Jamie who's outgoing, but the new Ndeke, I think is his name, the new community affairs director for our district. And his answer was, we can make it a hybrid car. So at least there is no idling machine now in front of the.
Yeah, okay, I don't want to be discussing how to deal with it in the meeting.
Yeah, and I kind of don't want to put specific places in the meeting, in the reso, because I think there's.
We have the
a little bit of
605.
oh, that's Charis, right? Yeah. So that's well known. But the other thing is, it's not true in other. I'm not saying it makes it any better, but I don't know if it's just happening at that place. But I know in Chinatown they don't. It's a different place, but they don't do that, So I'm not sure why. So maybe if Susan, can you talk? Is it the precinct who does it? Can you talk to them and find out why it's going on?
It's sure. I appreciate, they should be listening to the community, but it's different when the board officially deals with it, and I can always go, above the precinct if necessary. So absolutely, I will deal with it. I really wish the pastor church would also send me an email, because it's, I'm making a complaint about a third party who hasn't contacted me, and I really wish he would contact me so I can work with him and deal with it immediately.
Okay. All right. Okay. So next, David Crane.
Yeah, a couple things. I also I agree that we shouldn't do this by putting in tangential things. I was going to say about where things get sent. We should never assume as a committee that something will get sent to the right place. Part of the minutes form actually has send to, and we should always be filling that in. So for instance, if this should go to the mayor's office, we should specify that in there, because it has happened that resolutions get passed. It's not clear where to send it. They don't get sent.
Well, they do. I always contact.
Well, okay.
You're right. They should do
Susan
that.
has to follow up is what I'm saying. And I imagine that they're having anyway, it's just something that we need to do as a committee, okay?
Okay, yeah, that's a good idea to record it in the minutes. Okay, and there's a little line where you can put it in. Okay, thank you, David. Right, okay, so it now looks like we are up to members of the public.
And so maybe if you
Larissa.
give me a second and let me share my screen so I can have the timer up.
Okay, so the next one will be Irving Lee, and Irving, just wait for the timer to come up and that's when you start.
Okay, Irving, we've got it up. You should be able to see it.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. There's a couple of things about the proposal. I don't have it in front of me, but I think one thing to consider is whether or not the safe haven program is actually efficacious and viable.
Oh, Irving,
because-
Irving.
Yeah, go
Hey,
ahead.
can I stop you for a minute? So
Sure.
right now we're talking about the suites.
Well, it's linked in the sense that the safe haven program, whether or not, I mean, obviously, supposedly the safe haven program was going to be one of the alternatives, a new model form for shelters. And the question is it a viable program? if
Okay, yeah,
there's
but
still
that- Okay, I'm sorry, Irving, let me just stop you for a minute. So the safe havens have been around for a while. The problem is there are not that many of them. There are more congregate shelters than safe havens. But we're talking
Well-
about the sweeps right now. It's a different, we really are talking about a different thing. It's not that, we're not talking about the benefits or not benefits of the safe haven. We're
Well, there's
talking
another
about the
element there's another element.
sweeps that are happening. So, I mean.
There's
I
another
don't-
element that it's involved. There's a question of housing, to provide affordable housing. I know Brian Kavanaugh
Irving,
had a recent bill because the fact is there's insufficient housing that can provide a housing for those working homeless in the communities, and that could be a major factor reducing the homelessness. The fact
Okay.
that there's not a viable housing program. I know Brian Kavanaugh had a voucher program that he wanted
Okay.
to sponsor, and it was knocked down. So, I mean, those are the issues that have to be addressed in order to look at viable solutions. That's all I wanted to point out. And a lot of it's
Okay.
on the purview of the legislatures, primarily in Albany. That's not doing what they're supposed to be doing, unfortunately. So anyway, that's the point I was making.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
All right. I saw someone named YC, but they're not there anymore.
Yeah, no, they're still
I'm
there.
here. I'm here.
YC
YC is here. Hi. Yes.
Hi.
I had
Could you just tell
raised
us your
my-
name, YC?
Yes, it's Yilaw Chan,
Okay.
and I had my hand up quite early when Van was speaking about the kiosk, but I was not acknowledged. So I still wish to ask my question. And since he's still here, I'd love to kind of engage him with a response. I'm just
Okay.
curious.
I'm sorry. Did you say? I'm sorry. Could you say your name again?
Yilaw. Yes, Yilaw.
Okay.
Yes.
Yilaw. Can you take this offline and
Why?
talk to Van?
Why?
Because we're talking
Why?
about another agenda item.
But that's because you moved forward before
No, your
I had
hand
a
was not
chance to
raised.
say anything. Yes, it was. And I put it in the chat that I have a question to
The
ask.
chat is not for questions, okay?
I didn't put a question in the chat. I wanted to acknowledge that I wanted to speak
Okay, we're not
because I
talking
wasn't
about it
being
now,
acknowledged
and
with the
you can-
hand raise.
Well, I'm sorry, but we're no longer talking about the his agenda item, and he put his
Why?
information in the chat. I mean,
That's
he gave out his
really
information.
unbelievable. We're here as a community board with community members, and because you had an oversight and seeing my hand, you won't acknowledge my space to ask a question.
Yeah, well, the space is not now. So you do have an
Wow.
opportunity to talk to him. And if you wish to send us more information about the result of your conversation with him, please feel free.
That's super frustrating and disempowering. I'm surprised this is how the meeting is held. It's my first time here and this is very unwelcoming.
I'm sorry you feel that way, but please,
I do.
Van, please feel free to talk to Van. Okay, so who's next? Can you, if you're done, we'll turn off the timer, Larissa.
Is
And
Jane Chung?
I can, I can't see it, the thing anymore. Okay, Jane? Jane Chung?
Jane, you have to unmute yourself. Okay, Jane, you're unmuted. You can go ahead.
No. Okay, if maybe Jane walked away. Okay, Jane, if you wish to speak, you should unmute yourself and start talking now. All right. Well,
She said
okay.
she did unmute. I think she may be having issues.
Oh yeah, she is unmuted and I guess she's
Yes.
having issues. Okay, well, the only thing I can think to do is that we go on to talk about our resolution. And if Jane can, you know, come back on later, she can talk. Have you heard any more from Jane, Larissa?
Yes, she is typing in the chat that she is there. Jane, but we cannot hear you. You may, okay, you are unmuted. May want to check your audio settings. So if you go down to the bottom on where the microphone is, click that up arrow, and then you should see select microphone. You may need to select your microphone and test your microphone and make sure that you can be heard.
Well, she's not being heard. I mean, she's. Is she chatting at you anymore?
She says it's not her problem. No, Jane, it is your problem. It should be your computer on your screen, on your Zoom screen. On the lower left-hand side, you'll see a microphone. There is an up arrow. Click the up arrow and select your microphone. Make sure that you have activated the microphone that you're using that's attached to your computer, or if it's internal, the one in your computer. You can put your, we can put her question in the chat, May, if we can't get her to.
Yeah, sure.
Correct. Okay, so Jane, if you want to type your question. Okay, she's going to type her question.
Okay.
Oh, she's on her iPhone. That's fine. Okay.
Oh.
She could also call in on her phone, no?
That's true. Yeah, if you have the phone, if you have the phone link for the meeting, you can also call in. If you want to go out and come back in on your phone. Okay, so let's see. So she did type, how many board members here voted yes for the 91 East Broadway homeless shelter?
We didn't vote on it.
That is her question.
We didn't vote on it.
We didn't vote on it.
Thank goodness. Okay. Okay, this is recorded. Okay.
Is this about the sweeps?
Jane, if this is this about the sweeps, yes or no? Oh, she didn't hear the answer when we asked. We didn't vote on it. Jane.
May, is this about the sweeps?
Yeah, this is not about the sweeps.
No, this is not about the sweeps.
Okay, all right. So we're talking about the sweeps, the homeless, the sweeps. You know, when the police come in and they, you know, there's an encampment with tents, and there's such a one in Chinatown on Eldridge Street on the side there. You know, where there's all this building with scaffolding, and then they, you know, put up their blankets and and they're there, and then the police come in and take away their stuff, and they give you like a few days notice. Sometimes it's 1 day notice. They put up the sign, and then and then you have to go. And sometimes they throw away. Well, these days they're throwing away your stuff, and it's part of the mayor's new. It's a new initiative, a new policy by the mayor. That is what we are talking about right now. As a reminder. All right, so it looked like Jane's question is not about the sweeps. And so we can, I do not see any other hands up right now. If there are no hands up oh, John Mudd.
Hi, I appreciate you letting me talk because we share the same.
Oh, you need to, wait a minute. Oh, the timer. Larissa, sorry.
Give me a head start. We share the same thing. I see a lot of harassment. That's all it is. It's harassment. I see them handing out oath tickets to people, and I see them putting a ban up right in front of a hotel, just to keep people away. They did 3 months of that over here in Midtown, and it's very dehumanizing. It's all for optics. I think we all are clear on that, and I appreciate sharing the same problem with you that we have, and I think we all ought to kind of get together and kind of voice our opinions together sometimes. So feel free to reach out to me. And but I see all your issues here in Midtown, and it exists, I think, all over. I hear it from other community boards too. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right. Okay, so I don't see any. Let me just look up and down one more time, and I do not see any other hands up. So let us look at the reso again. And we heard a little bit of discussion from community board members. There were some edits. Could we see it with the edits?
Sure.
Okay, so we read it once before, but there were some sections that were edited.
Well, this was added, strategic response here.
Right.
And strategic response here. And then David gave us would have increased beds and services in our community, added the word have. And then it says, therefore, be it resolved that CB3 will support the city council in holding, let me fix that, an oversight hearing.
Should be support, CB3 supports.
Okay. Supports the city council in holding an oversight hearing, is that correct?
Yeah, why don't you say the New York City Council?
Okay.
And add an S to supports.
Yes.
Oh, and oversight is spelled Oversight.
Thank you. Oversight.
Okay. So if there is no other discussion about this resolution, we can vote on it. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't see any other hands raised.
No.
Okay. So Thomas, are you ready to take the vote?
Yes, let me just get this. Okay, we're ready. May,
Yes.
Thomas is yes. Larissa,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Eric is still absent. Shirley,
Yes.
Deborah,
Yes.
Alicia,
Yes.
Laura still absent. Heidi,
Yes.
Ricky's absent, and is Carmen with us?
Yes, as
Okay.
amended.
Thank you. Okay, that concludes our vote.
Okay. Okay, very good. Okay, thank you, everyone. Let's move on to the next agenda item, which will be 47 Madison Street, the safe haven at 47 Madison Street. As many of you heard, we also heard this past Monday that the planned safe haven facility at 47 Madison Street has been canceled by the Department of Homeless Services. And I know that many of you heard about it on Monday, maybe in the news, but our CB3 office, Susan, was also notified just on Monday. Is that correct? Or you had a call with some of the.
It might have been the end. It might have been the end of last week. I don't remember, but we were notified.
Oh, okay, you're notified, and then you had a call with a little call with somebody.
DHS called me.
Oh, okay. And so can you tell us like what they told you about it?
Sure. DHS called me and told me they were not going forward with that site, and that there were various reasons, but included fair share and equity.
Okay. I know that in the some of the newspaper reports, at least at WABC, and I'm not sure if it was the time, but definitely on WABC, they said that they were planning it to put it in another area where there were less services. So when you talked to them, did they say anything about that?
There is not a planned area planned in CB3.
Oh, okay. All right. So I know that you know I've talked to some of the committee members and committee board members, some you know people from the neighborhood, at the Roar press conference, and some of us are quite dismayed, and heartbroken about this. So it is happening, but we can, our board can, express our disappointment and dismay. And so we've drafted a resolution that speaks to that. I think the committee members already have a draft, but this resolution we're talking about, just to summarize, is does talk about, our community board for many, many years had in our district needs statement has always talked about how homelessness is a major issue, especially street homelessness, and the need for these safe haven facilities, as opposed to the congregate shelters, which will help to bring more people, transition or get on the road to permanent housing. It is only the first step in the road. So we have a draft resolution we can look at and discuss, and we can share it. So. So we'll just start there, and we'll have the same procedure. We'll take a look at it. Committee members can speak first, and then after that, we'll move on to non-CB3 CB3 non-commun, members who are not in the committee, and then after that, members of the public. And the members of the public will be timed. You get 2 minutes. We'll only allow about a maximum of 5 people from the public, 2 minutes each. Okay, we have a big agenda, so. Thomas, can you share the document, the draft document that we have?
Sure.
Okay, so this is regarding the 47 Madison Street safe haven that is no more. Could you read that out loud, Thomas?
Whereas New York City and specifically Community District 3 has acknowledged crisis of homelessness, and whereas the mayor has promised to expand the number of safe haven and stabilization beds to meet the crisis of homelessness, and whereas Community Board 3 has for several years listed the need for more safe haven in its annual district needs statement, and also for fiscal year 2023, noted the need for more funding for safe havens as its number 6 budget priority. And whereas CB3 listed homelessness as among the top 3 issues requested by city planning in the community district needs statement. And whereas the Department of Homeless Services reached out to CB3 in 2021 to inform the board that in accordance with the mayor's plan and the community board district needs, 2 new safe havens were being sited in CB3 at 91 East Broadway and 47 Madison Street. And whereas both of these safe havens were placed on the community board agendas to notify the community and were presented to CB3 at public committee meetings, 47 Madison Street Safe Haven, and was presented in December 2021. And whereas DHS in the fact sheet for the 47 Madison Street Safe Haven states that the facility would serve 49 single adults with Catholic Charities operating the facility. And whereas the safe haven at 47 Madison Street would provide these individuals experiencing unsheltered homelessness, with the specialized services and support they need and deserve to get back on their feet. And whereas priority placement would be offered to those individuals who have roots in Chinatown, in the Chinatown area and the broader borough of Manhattan. And whereas the city issued a fair share report for 91 East Broadway that included the plans for 47 Madison in the fair share report. And whereas the fair share report for 91 East Broadway noted that the CB3 district needs statement stated the need for more safe havens. And whereas some people have cited violent acts in and near the area, in and near the community by homeless people as reasons for sheltering unhoused people is not safe, but none of these acts were perpetrated by unhoused people in shelter or receiving services. And whereas the Department of Homeless Services has now notified CB3 that the proposed plans for a safe haven at 47 Madison Street to be operated by Catholic Charities will no longer go forward for reasons including fair share and equity. And whereas people who are homeless and living on the street without services are not receiving fair and equitable treatment by the city, and outreach workers report that an unhoused person who wishes to accept a safe haven bed in this community can wait up to several months. So, and that's what I have.
Oh, we have no end.
Wait, there is an end. Oh, is there a second page?
Unless it's a different document, this is the one that I have. I have 2 versions of this that are exactly the same.
Neither of them have an end.
Oh, but there was an end.
Okay, I apologize for that. I'll take a look right now, but I don't see it.
What's the name of that document? Is it like something .2?
No, it just says 47 Madison Street Safe Haven. The second draft that I've downloaded from the email. If you have a more recent one.
No, there's nothing more recent. Let me look at the old
Well,
one.
but no, there was more than so. There was an end to it.
Okay.
I have to take a look.
I'm looking for it.
Okay. I sent one to you too, like early this morning.
Okay.
Sorry, everyone.
No, I've. Okay. So I actually, there was a quote from the fair share report that's missing. What I had was, after the whereas the fair share report for 91 East Broadway noted that CV3 district needs statement stated the need for more safe havens, and then if you wanted, had the quote from the fair share report. Then after that, whereas some people have cited violent acts in and near the community, we read that. Outreach workers report that an unhoused person who wishes to accept a safe haven bed in this community can wait up to several months. So therefore be it resolved that Community Board 3 Manhattan wishes to state that it is dismayed that the much needed safe haven plan for 47 Madison is being withdrawn by DHS, while there are many people living on the streets without services and without placement in safe 1 or 2 unit facilities with services, which is inequitable and unfair for this vulnerable population.
Okay, so how do you add it to that?
So
To
Susan,
what Thomas said?
do you have that written? Because if you email it to me, I can
I'm
tag it.
gonna email it to you right now.
Thank you.
Okay, I just sent it to you. It's really like just a line or two, I think.
Okay, I got it.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah, David.
We can continue to do this in the background, and we could ask the committee members if they have clarifying questions. We could actually go all the way through the public speaking and then come back to debate. And at that time, we would have introduce a motion.
Okay, that sounds good.
That'd be great.
Yeah, that would help save us some time. Okay, so let's see. I'm sorry. Okay, so as I said before, we are taking first from members of the committee, and then after that, community board members who are not in the committee, and after that, members of the public. So the first committee member I see here is Carmen Perez.
Thanks, May. In light of recent events, with the resolution as written, are we to say now that the other location is still in play, or is that one also out?
Still
it's still in play. Okay, so then
Or they haven't told us that it's not, put it that way.
Yeah,
we think it's still in play.
Okay, so it's still in play. All right, because we can definitely speak of what happened to 47 Madison, but certainly make it clear that that the other one shouldn't be also forgotten as well, or whatever or citing the reason that I don't know if they're using the Padavin law or what they're going on, or no. All right, because usually the Padavin law was put in that a certain community can only have but so much of whatever social services within certain parameters of a community. If they're not citing that, then
the Padavin law is for liquor licenses.
But that also went into social services as well. I remember having to fight that here in Harlem.
They said, so the answer was that it was, they said it included being not fair and inequitable.
And inequitable. Yeah, well, it's pretty much the same language. Okay, so I was just thinking that, maybe we could just go back to that in the resolution. And citing, of course, our district needs statement, which puts that, very clearly what our needs are, but what the needs of the community, are. In clarifying that, so it doesn't seem like it's lengthy or going into 47. That it gets a slight mention, but just actually put into what exactly are we looking for here, and also in speaking with DHS to see what other location are they looking at, since that hasn't been mentioned as yet either.
Well, they didn't tell us the location, but the location is not
Right.
in CB. So
You want me to address the process for that?
well, sure.
So DHS doesn't look for locations. What they do is they put out an RFP and a provider will say, oh, I could provide a program in this location.
Yeah, it's like a human service contract.
All right, that's all what I wanted to say in terms of what the parameters of what we can do versus how the city then handles that.
Okay. Any other? David Crane, and then Deborah Glass.
Yeah, I was gonna just, that was great. I was gonna encourage us not to move on to try to make amendments at this time.
Okay. Deborah Glass.
I just had a clarifying question from what Susan just said. So Susan, are you saying because I want to make sure that I understood. So the RFP goes out. There's no location selected when that RFP goes out, or?
Correct. They're looking to the person who answers the RFP. And they even said to me in the conversation, when I said, we need more safe havens. They said, have people answer the RFP.
And if someone steps up for the RFP, then how do they find that? Then that's
part of it. Part of it is like when Catholic Charities went to DHS to answer the RFP, they said, we're going to develop this building, or we're going to rent this building, or we're going to buy this building, and we're going to put this program here. And, that's our plan.
Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, it's very, very confusing.
Okay. Yeah, so we're just having a little discussion right now while we wait for the Thomas to put together the right text.
Susan's paragraphs have been included, so the correction.
Okay, so we have one member of the public who has raised her hand. Do we want to hear that first before we go back to our talk? It's only one person. Yeah, we could do that. Yolanda, Dr. Yolanda. Okay,
Hi,
so there's
yes.
a timer.
Oh,
Okay,
if you could wait until I get the timer up,
okay.
please.
Yeah,
Yolanda.
well, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Wait one.
No worries.
Thank you.
And bear with me. I got to get back to my page. Okay. Thanks for your patience. Go ahead.
Thank you. Hi, thank you. My name is Yolanda Tenjo. I'm calling. I grew up in the area, and I just wanted to know. This is my first time at your meeting, but you guys have talked about this 47 Madison, and which I agree. We absolutely have a duty to help the homeless, and I agree with these safe havens as being something that's much needed. However, I'm noticing that in the fair share analysis, is there a reason why all these safe havens and shelters are being within this half-mile radius of Chinatown and not in more affluent areas where there's not an oversaturation of shelters? I'm just curious why, all these community boards are kind of this happens in Harlem, this happened in the Bronx, and I see this happening in Chinatown now, where there's just an overload of everyone's fair share quotas being in Chinatown. So I'm just curious, is there a reason why you guys chose 47 Madison over other sites in CB3.
Okay, Yolanda, just to answer your question, we did not choose it.
Oh, wait, okay. I thought you guys said you guys had
No,
to
we did not
say-
choose it. No. As Susan Stetzer explained, it is part of the RFP process. So let's say you are a service provider and you want to, maybe you're a service provider who can, run a homeless shelter, run a safe haven shelter, and provide the services in there. So you answer an RFP from the government, it's like a grant proposal. And then one of the questions will be, what are your plans for the facility? So you have to talk about the provider. The proposed has to talk about their plans. Maybe, whether, as Susan said, maybe they have a plan for renting a building, buying a building, developing it, whatever. That's how it gets chosen. And then,
Okay,
but then it will, that's how it gets chosen. We don't choose it.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Okay, I think we can. Okay, let's. Okay. No, there's. Okay, well, let's just. Okay, let's take. Okay, I'm just going to take 3. Okay, I said we had a limit of 5. So there are 3 more people. And then afterward, there'll be 1 more member of the public. Okay, so so I see a YC, a John Mudd, and an Eric Sensen. Do you want to wait till later? Or do you want to give someone else a chance?
I prefer not to wait till later because I wasn't given an opportunity earlier.
Okay,
This is
YC, okay.
Elaw. Yes.
Okay, Elaw, John Mudd, and then Eric Sensen. Elaw, okay, your time, you can start. The timer has started.
Yes, so I currently live really close to the Madison location, and I know that it's it's a building with a lot of history, and I also know that on foot in under less than 2 minutes walk, there is another shelter on Catherine Street that's been there for a very, very long time. And I just want to echo Dr. Yolanda Tun's comment. And while I understand that the board does not select or make suggestions for citing, that there's some awareness from the board that the community recognizes that there is an oversaturation of homeless shelters within a half-mile radius of the Chinatown community, and that you continue to speak on advocacy of voices like ours who recognize that our Chinatown community split between 3 community boards is actually being overwhelmed by a lot of social services, facilities, the mega jail, which I know is not in CB3, but as a community of Chinatown residents, which takes a corner of CB3, there's just quite a lot to burden and to take on. So I think that there are a lot of other ways in which our community can support support to solve root causes of homelessness. And I just want us to really think more broadly about ways in which we as a community can work together towards communicating that to the city. That's it. Thank you.
Next, John Mudd.
Hi. Yeah, I'm John Mudd. I'm with the Midtown South Community Council. We kind of get the same thing here. We're oversaturated, that sort of thing. At the core of it is the lack of housing. There's a deeper issue here, and it's a crisis. It's been a crisis before COVID. It's going to even be much more crisis. We're in a desperate situation, and once you get people on the road to housing, they're no longer homeless, for one, and what you have, a lack of housing, and it's because of the development that nobody's producing any housing. We don't have the right policies. I think we have a duty to scream loudly and combined efforts to demand some housing, and not the fake housing, not the housing that the mayor talks about or the lottery has. I mean, really deeply, truly affordable housing. That's the core issue. The services and so forth. I mean, it's really inhumane to be on the streets and have the police force moving them off the streets for optics reasons. And I think it's a inhumane thing to do, to allow that continue. So I think we have to attack it from all different directions, not just, but the housing is the core. And since you have this problem within this area, I think your voice has a lot of oomph to it. And then there's a lot of other areas. Midtown is the same thing. We fought, a lot of voices came out, fought viciously against housing. And the first thing they do is they said, we empathize, but yet they wanted to move them out. And I don't think we want to be like the police or our mayor or anybody else in our governing system looking for optics. But that's all I'll say. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Eric Sensen and F. Okay, and then after that is the fifth person and the last person. Okay, Eric Sensen, and then I think it's Melissa say.
Hi.
Well, it was Melissa and Kay. So the two of you will have to, I know you know each other, so you can talk to each other. Which one of you wants to be the last person? Okay, Eric.
Hi. I'm new to this meeting. My name is Eric Senzon. I am the director. Pardon me. I work for Housing Works. I am the director of 3 permanent supportive housing programs. One on the Upper West Side in the West 90s, serving formerly homeless veterans. And for a good 2 decades, I've been overseeing a family service program in East Harlem, as well as a landmark facility on Christopher Street, serving people impacted by HIV/AIDS. That was originally Bailey House, that now merged with Housing Works. I'm really excited to join your community, and I agreed with much of what has been expressed this evening. In particular, Mr. Mudd, who just spoke, as to the points about saturation. I don't know enough about the Chinatown area in terms of saturation. There was a pushback on the Upper West Side in 2016 when we sought to eliminate homelessness for homeless veterans in New York. And we've had an extremely successful program in spite of the initial pushback from the community. They have embraced us for the most part, meet with us at quarterly meetings. And I really think the point I'd like to make today is about the quality of services. Not all service providers are alike. And I think that as much as we can let the community in to make them aware of what we actually do in permanent supportive housing, is the road towards improved efforts in terms of eliminating homelessness.
Oh, wow, right on the dot. Thank you. Okay, the next, I guess, Kay Webster.
Well, I think Melissa should talk. She's University Settlement. I think you want her opinion here.
Okay, Melissa. Well, is she on? Melissa. Okay.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, thanks so much. I'm sorry I'm in transit, so I'm sorry if I get cut off. Yeah, University Settlement, which is situated, our historic building right by SDR Park, but also spread throughout the community, both north and south, the entire Community Board 3. We've worked on issues of homelessness and housing for actually all of our 135 years, but we've become extremely concerned about the uptick in homelessness and street homelessness in the neighborhood, as well as concerned about the rhetoric really criminalizing people who are unhoused. The thing that just is devastating to me about the potential loss of the safe havens that were planned for this area is that that's exactly the next step that was needed from the outreach teams who work in the park, work in the streets, and work in the subways. If they don't have a very immediate and close place that's safe and as this former speaker just said, of high quality to take people to that's nearby, then the outreach really doesn't work. And it's such an immediate problem that we have in the parks and in the subways that everyone is concerned about, including and especially the people who have expressed being against the shelters and against the safe havens. I think we're all concerned about the same thing. And the difference of opinion seems to be about whether the safe havens is actually helpful. I want to express how helpful I think they would be, because they're the very next step after the outreach process. And the quality of the providers that were proposed, Catholic Charities, Housing Works, which I know that's a community board 2 space, but it's right by us, and that was the one that was about to open. Oops, I'm over time. The quality is incredible for the providers, and that really does make a big difference. Thanks so much.
Okay, thank you. So Melissa was the 5th person. I said there's only 5 people, and we will move back to our discussion of the document, the reso. So
May, since Kay is a member of Community Board 3, would she get an opportunity?
well, she's here on. Well, Kay said you don't need to speak, right, Kay?
I always need to speak, May.
Oh,
it's your job. You're the chair. You decide.
yeah,
Is
because you're here for
Alicia
the.
okay?
What?
Is Alicia okay?
Alicia?
Yeah, see her? That's that.
No. So we're back. We're okay. I'm sorry. Okay, we're because you're here for the Sarah D today, right? So okay.
Oh my
So yeah,
goodness. No, let me call her.
What happened?
She does not look good.
Oh yeah.
She does not look good at all.
You think she just napped?
Let me try. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, thank you, John.
I'll give her a call.
Okay.
The last person who spoke, what was her name? I'd love to contact her.
Melissa Ase. She's the ED of University Settlement.
Okay. I'm gonna put an email in.
Yeah, okay. I think well, we can pass their email to you.
Thank you.
Oh, I see.
She's sleeping. That's what it was.
She gets up at 5 a.m.
Wow.
Okay,
Sorry
yeah,
to
she's
disturb
put.
you.
Oh, yeah, she's putting her.
It's a long day.
Yeah. Sorry we disturbed you.
Hey, Alicia, is everything okay?
Yes, I'm sorry, man. I'm just tired. I'm tired.
Oh, okay. We were a little
I'm so
concerned.
sorry.
Okay, but we're glad you're okay. All right.
Okay.
All right. So, okay, back to the reso.
Jesus.
Okay, so this is the reso with the proper.
The only corrections were the last about 5 paragraphs. I put in italics what Susan sent me. So from here down, I'm going to read that section just so it could be coherent. Whereas some people have cited violent acts in and near the community by homeless people as reasons that sheltering unhoused people is not safe, but none of these acts were perpetrated by unhoused people in shelters or receiving services. And whereas the Department of Homeless Services now has notified CB3 that the proposed plans for a safe haven at 47 Madison Street to be operated by Catholic Charities will no longer go forward for reasons including fair share and equity. And whereas people who are homeless and living on the street without services are not receiving fair share and equitable treatment by the city. and outreach workers report that an unhoused person who wishes to accept a safe haven bed in this community can wait up to several months. So therefore be it resolved that Community Board 3, Manhattan, wishes to state that it is dismayed that the much needed safe haven plan for 47 Madison is being withdrawn by the DHS while there are many people living on the streets without services and without placement in safe 1 or 2 unit facilities with services, which is inequitable and unfair for this vulnerable population.
Okay. So that's the complete text. Board members, committee members, do you have any more discussion on this?
I move that we adopt this motion. That's what needs to happen before we debate.
Oh, okay. Oh, that starts the debate? David, it starts the debate, right?
Assuming that someone is willing to second it.
Does someone wish to second
May
the
I second
motion?
it?
Okay.
I second me.
All right. So now we're debating this particular motion, this document. Committee members? Anything to say about it? Want to start calling on you? Yes, you're good. It's good, it's bad. You want some changes. If you want some changes or additions, you should say what they are. Deborah Glass.
Hi, so I just had one question about the whereas clause where some people have cited violent acts, blah, et cetera. None of these acts were perpetrated by unhoused people in shelter or receiving services. I guess I wanted to clarify that the person, the individual who, I'm sorry to say this, who murdered Christina Yun Lee, wasn't he receiving services from the Bowery Mission?
Absolutely not.
He was not receiving services. From
Absolutely
Bowery.
not.
So it was.
The Post had to retract that.
They had to retract it. Okay. All right. Thank you for clarifying.
Susan, are you raising your hand?
No, yeah, I just wanted to answer that.
Okay. Okay, committee members, anyone else?
May I have a quick question? I'm sorry, my hand wasn't up. It's Alicia.
Okay, go ahead.
And I apologize, committee members, I dozed off. Should we not add anything about because the unhoused
Come.
sorry.
Are you okay?
Somebody else is trying to speak. I don't know.
I muted them.
Yeah, so should we not add anything about unhoused people that have been hurt in our district because of what do you think, Susan? Should we not add anything about
I don't have any documentation. I mean, I have read that there are more crimes against unhoused people than by them, but I don't have any documentation for that. And it's absolutely true, but I'm wondering if that's something that we might put more in the district need than talking about this particular site.
Got it. Thank you.
No, I mean, I have read, like, I don't know, it was Coalition for the Homeless that, and it makes sense, right? Those living and sleeping on the street are, more often victims of crime and everything else. But I don't recall if they had a number, and certainly not a number that drills down to the community district.
Yeah.
But as Susan said, we could research it more and add it to the district needs.
Yeah, I'm just thinking back to the gentlemen that were killed on the streets in Chinatown.
Oh yeah, the fourth.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, thanks, Alicia.
David's up.
Oh, okay, David.
Yeah, this resolution, it should serve to lend our voice that we, we do need to get, oh, good grief. Safe havens need to be created. The safe haven program needs to create more, and we see it as a, I mean, it's just unfortunate that they have decided not to do the one on Madison. But it's not about Madison so much as it's about putting some backbone into the agency to do proceed and create more of them, because we do feel that it is a big part of the solution. It's certainly the next step to help street homeless get off the street, which will help the community and those street homeless.
Okay. Okay, thanks, David. David, are you adding something or are you just commenting?
I was really just commenting as to what the purpose is. I mean, I don't know if the language is focused too much on Madison or not. I'm not going to suggest something.
Oh, okay. Susan?
Yeah, the original draft that I sent to you to speak to that, and I think Carmen also spoke to that same issue. The original section, original draft I sent to you actually sent the quote from the Fair Share that quoted our district needs about the need for safe havens. And if we just maybe put that quote back in, that will emphasize the need for safe havens and that the city recognizes that we have noted that.
I think if we have the text in front of us, if we're really going to talk about the minutes, it'll be easier.
Thomas, was that italics? What I sent to you was in italics.
No, you sent it to me and then I sent it to him. I may have lost it, so I can find it. And I think I was the one who lost it.
I can send it again though.
Okay.
Quote, I do have everything that Susan sent me, but if there's an additional quote, I'll gladly add it on.
It does or does not have it?
I don't see
it does. Yeah, it does not. I'm fairly sure I lost it. I'm very sorry.
Okay, let me look for that.
Yeah, because I will look for it too. Any other comments from the board members while we look at that?
Can we screen share the evolving document?
Yes, I can do that right now. Is there a particular section you need to see?
Well, perhaps the one that Susan was.
Okay, I just sent it to you, Thomas.
Okay, thank you. Give me a moment as I pull it from my email.
Yeah, maybe it got lost because it was like just like an image, a copy of an image.
Got it.
Yes, it was a copy of an image.
So is it just the red section?
No, it's below that. And there's the red section and then 2 lines and then the quote in the Community Board 3's fiscal year.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It doesn't say where it's from, but which could be added. It's from the Fair Share report for 91 East Broadway. Oh, it does say it. I'm sorry, the line above it says it. So I'm sorry, it's everything below the red type. Where's the city issued, where's the Fair Share, and then the 3 lines.
Okay, give me one more second and I'll pull it up for everyone to see.
Okay. But I would also say there is the fact that we need more safe havens, but I would also say the way the city dealt with this was particularly egregious.
Okay, I'm pulling it up now. So what it is, the document itself is a picture.
Yeah.
For the sake of time, I just put the screenshot of it and I'll surely add it to the doc, but I'm gonna make it bigger so everyone can read it.
Okay, let's start where it says, whereas the city issued a fair share, it should start there.
There,
Yeah.
there. So whereas the city issued a fair share report for 91 East Broadway that included the plans for 47 Madison in the fair share report, and whereas the fair share report for 91 East Broadway noted that the CB3 district needs statement stated the need for more safe havens, and in Community Board 3's fiscal year 2023 statement of community district needs and Community Board budget requests, the board states more safe havens are needed for people experiencing homelessness in our community to provide safe shelter and services. And then everything is as what was read before.
So this is adding the in Community Board 3's section below the two paragraphs above. That's it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Great, great.
And I'll be sure to add that in right now. Is there any other corrections that needs to be added, or we're gonna keep it?
Committee members, do you have any other stuff to add to this or say to this before we come to vote? I don't.
Nothing to add.
Okay.
I would like to see the last, the therefore, so we can review that.
Coming up, I'm just.
Great, yeah, I know.
Set up. Okay.
And I believe that there should have been, sorry, a whereas before in.
Yeah.
At the beginning of that paragraph above.
Which one?
The one you just typed in.
Okay, gotcha. I have to take out the italics.
But here's the writ. Sorry, there's my hand.
Anything to add? David?
May, May?
Yes?
David's hand is up.
Okay, sorry, I was, David, go ahead.
Okay, so I think that the risk, I actually think what's happening is that the city there's a new policy happening. And the policy is going to be to not position safe havens anywhere. Right, so, I'd like it to say something like that, like a little stronger somehow. I don't have the words. I can't see what I want to make change here, but that we want them to pursue other opportunities to provide, safe havens or these other things. The placement in safe 1 or 2, we need the city to pursue other opportunities with some urgency. And someone see a way to phrase that in here? I mean, it just kind of like drops it on the floor, dismayed that 47 Madison is being withdrawn while these other things are happening. I mean, yeah, maybe dismayed that happened, but more to the point, that they need to pursue other opportunities. Now that they have done that, they need to pursue other opportunities. That might be a way to phrase this. What do people think?
So their answer is, because I've already said this to them, have somebody answer the RFP.
Because there's money, right? I mean.
Yes, there absolutely is money for it. They are not stopping the safe.
Yeah, there is funding.
The policy is to preserve. This was specifically because of trying to use the right words, the nice words. It was in response to a community reaction, and that's what it was. They are not stopping safe havens. They are putting more money into safe havens. I think it's fine to say that they need to do that, but they are not stopping it. But what they will say is they need somebody to answer RFPs.
Oh yeah, I mean that is true.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right.
May, I'm not sure you've seen my hand is up. This is Olympia.
Yeah, Olympia, go ahead. We're just.
Yes. So I had raised my hand when David made his question and before Susan gave her recommendation. So I'm wondering, so to David's point, I would have said if there were any data of a certain amount of beds that we would like as soon as possible. But given Susan's answer, maybe what we need to say is if we think that they need to be doing outreach, it shouldn't be up to us and private entities to participate in the bid, but we can say we urge the city to change the way in which safe havens are, designed and become more proactive. Because if it's really up to individual private people participating in a bid, that's not really a plan, right? So we can add language to that extent.
I don't know if we want to go that way. It's a little. So they have funding available citywide. They have funding available, and then it's this is. I mean, safe havens. I mean, it's like any human service. The government doesn't do. It's the non-governmental organizations that provide the services, and the government provides the money for them to do the services. So they have this money, and then people come in and apply for the money. So that's what Susan is referring to. But I don't think that. I mean, that's like another discussion.
Yeah.
And so we're just. For now, I think if we want to be a little bit more focused, I personally think it's okay just to focus on this. In this instance, in this reso, in this letter that we want to write. It's like a reaction to what we, to the, cancellation of the safe haven. Okay.
There's a missing whereas on the paragraph before the therefore.
Yeah, it started off as a letter.
Okay, so if we are ready, are we ready to vote? Yes. I don't see any. Okay, so that's the reso. Are there any more comments from the board? If not, then we may be ready to vote. I mean, not from the board, from the committee members.
I put my thumbs up for a ready to vote.
Okay. Do we need a second on that, David?
No, in fact, you don't even need the discussion. All you need to say, if there are no more comments, we will go to a vote.
Okay, if there are no more comments, we will go to a vote. Thank you, David. 1. Okay, there are no more comments. Thomas.
Yes, just
okay.
Okay, Mei Lee.
Yes.
Thomas, yes. Larissa?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Shirley?
Yes.
Deborah?
Yes.
Alicia?
Yes.
Heidi?
Yes.
Carmen?
On that note,
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, is that everyone?
That's everyone.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so now we will go on to the next agenda item, which is will be short. It's about planning for our June event, the panel on and we'll just have some updates about the progress on where we are planning on the panel. It's a panel about services for homeless youth and families. So let me see. So I gave out homework for different members to contact speakers. I did send out an email. So I need some updates from some people. Did everyone see the email? So we have confirmed a speaker from Henry Street Settlement who will speak about their the services that I forgot the name of their department, but they the services that they have for families, and they have also like a whole program for that. Let me get the email out. Okay, and then I talked to Paul about the door, and there is someone confirmed from the door who will speak about their services for youth. That's runaway homeless youth, youth in supportive housing, and also those aging out of foster care. Heidi, Citizens Committee for Children.
Yes, what about them?
Oh, did you talk to them?
Yeah,
Are
I
they-
emailed you or texted you or something about it, and they said they're coming. They're still deciding which person will be there.
Oh, okay. And I just heard from Laura Lugo. She sent a text message, and so she was to contact someone from the schools. And who she got was the regional manager for students in temporary housing. So I'll find out her what that means, regional manager. We want the regional manager to also be able to specifically talk about our area, you know, to be able to drill down to that. So let me see, I think those are all our speakers that we have confirmed. We have the questions finalized. The meeting will be virtual. Is that correct, Susan? All meetings virtual?
Right.
Yeah.
It's before the expiration of this open meeting exemption. But on the questions, do we want to write a letter with the question, to company questions and get them out to people?
Right. Yeah. So that's the next thing we need to do is to contact the people. So we usually send them like an email or a letter, inviting them, and these are the questions. Do we want to, in the past, we have also asked them to send back their answers before the panel, just so we see it. And we might use some of it also for, if we want to have some stories in our district needs statement, like, like a quote or a story, we use that. We could possibly also get it from them after, but in the past, I think we got it from them before the panel. And at the panel, what they did was they spoke to their answers, and then there was questions and answers after that. So there's like a structured section and then kind of more of a little bit of an open mic section. Yeah, Susan.
So maybe just like a cover letter saying, if possible, we would like to get these answers in advance. One of the ways we use it is we pick up quotes or stories for our district needs from the answers.
Oh, okay.
And maybe even suggest that they include some specific, examples that we can, that we might be able to use as sidebars.
All right, so should I send out a sample cover letter and then people just contact their person?
Yeah, that'd be great. I thought we already came up with some of the questions.
Yeah, we have the questions, but just what to include. So this we're telling all speakers the same thing. That we want these, what we want from them and why. Okay, does that sound?
A template would be helpful.
Okay, so I'll get that template out to those who are contacting speakers.
May, do you want everybody to copy you when they contact?
Yes, you can CC me and also CC Susan, just so we know what's going on.
Okay.
Okay, so getting the word out.
Aha.
So we have to do more than just putting it on the regular agenda. We could have a flyer, or like a graphic. I don't think we do a lot of printing these days, but we could have a graphic. Could put up on our Twitter, and then people could also pass it, spread the word. Anyone interested in designing a graphic?
I don't mind doing that, May.
Okay. All right. So yeah, we'll just give you the information and just design the graphic, like a thing that people can put on Twitter and or Facebook, and then but you can also email it out, to your networks. Some of you are part of organizations, or you have clients or members, and they can come to this. So this is really open to the public. It's like an event as part of a regular meeting time.
Send it out to press contacts.
Oh, okay. We don't have a real press list, do we?
No, but I think a lot of you in different organizations have different contacts.
Okay.
I mean, I have some, and I'll do the local ones, but I think you all have others also.
Okay, so how many of you would be interested in that or have that? Just so we get a sense. Susan, I gotta look at the hand raising thing. I'm
So,
sorry.
May, I'm sorry, what is it that you're specifically asking for now?
Oh, no, Thomas is gonna design like a graphic, and then all of us can get it out to our contacts, but also our press contacts. The office doesn't have like an extensive media list, but some of us do. And and don't worry about, people hearing about it twice. It doesn't hurt, right? So does anyone, so
Okay,
Deborah, are you
thank you.
saying that you can?
No, I actually don't have press contacts, but I wanted to make sure that I understood what your call was for.
Yeah, so one thing is just to like, regular, individuals, so that, and then the other thing is to the media. I don't see any hands raised. Okay, another thing I wanted to bring up is, do we want to do translation?
Oh,
Maybe in Chinese. Maybe, can we call the Civic Engagement Commission and tell them?
no, because I called them yesterday, because I had requests for translation today, and I contacted Civic Engagement, I contacted the mayor's intergovernmental, and I contacted CAU. Not one person even answered me. And I had specific people that I was contacting.
Right, and this was an
Did not
important
get
meeting too.
one answer. I don't know how the city operates.
Okay. Yeah, so well, in the past, we did mainly do it in English, but.
It's just a problem that the city has to give resources, and the boards in general all over the city are working together with the Civic Engagement Commission to try and get this resource. We have not yet been successful. I believe we will be. I believe everyone wants to make it happen.
Okay, good. I'm glad. All right, so let's just leave that. If we don't have any other solutions to that, then we will just have to leave it as it is. But one thing okay, this will be virtual. Okay, so we'll just leave it as it is. Is there anything else we need to discuss on this event? Okay, can we put a deadline in terms of the panelists and getting back their information?
Well, I would like to get the template cover letter and get everything out like within 2 working days or something.
Okay, so can we get that out? How about Monday? Okay. And then Thomas, the flyer, can it be next week? The same time as the minutes are due?
Okay, I'll have it by Thursday.
Okay. Okay, so I have that, and then we'll get it out, and then we'll send it out to all the members, and you can distribute. Anything else on this? If not, we're moving on. Okay, let's move on. And if there's anything, we don't have any like decision making to do. This is just all planning and logistics. And if there's anything else, we can just communicate over email or phone. Okay, how does that sound to everyone? All right, okay, great. On to the next item. Oh dear. Okay, the next item will be our district needs statement. I gave out some homework also, and it was very simple. It was just for certain, I broke it up into sections, and your assignment for your section was simply to highlight the areas you think will need updating. You don't have to go update it yourself right away, just highlight them. So I got something from Susan. I know that for homelessness, and I talked a bit to Larissa. Or Larissa did.
Yeah,
Yes.
Alicia and I met virtually, and we went over, we highlighted a few areas that we think the information needed to be updated. Should I email you our changes or our suggestions?
Yeah, just email you can, just email the document.
Yeah, I have
and you
them all
can
in track changes.
Oh, okay,
Pardon?
and see,
I have them highlighted. I have comments on there and highlighted, so you'll be able to see what I was suggesting.
and Susan, should you be CC'd because
Well,
might have
absolutely. So just as far as process, to let everyone know, the person you guys voted to hire has accepted. And I think he's going to be very good. And he's starting June 6th. And so in the past couple of years, we had like a consultant that helped us work on it. What I would like to see is all the highlighted areas. I also highlighted on homelessness, the same thing, what I thought. I would like to see how much work there is, because I want to figure out if he can do, this research. It's basically research. So whether he can do it, whether we need to hire somebody and put him in charge. But if I could see the extent of the changes, it would help us in planning how to handle it.
Okay, so everyone remember, instead of just doing it yourself, all you need to do is mark the places that you think need updating. So that'll be helpful. Okay, for the education piece, I know I said Deborah, Shirley, and Laura. I talked to Shirley a bit, but I don't think they've worked on anything. Deborah, have you worked on it, looked at it?
I mean, I'm raising my hand.
Okay.
I looked at it. I think this has sort of been carried over for a couple, 3 years, and it looks like it should be updated, especially, and I guess I'll defer to Shirley because she's been more involved with this. I understand that there was, conversations around the potential for a school for dyslexia. I know that that was a conversation that was happening. I know that I think that there should be some updating now that we're sort of returning to some normalcy. And yeah, so there's some stuff that I think I would like to sort of connect with Shirley and who's my other partner in this part.
And Thomas, yeah, I think we need to reconnect. I think maybe we have an opportunity with Mayor Adams' push for dyslexia screeners, and we may have another opportunity to open up something else. But as May said, this is open until 2023, which doesn't give us much time, and it's always on the agenda and it never gets pushed up. So I think the three of us just need to come up with a plan and then see what we can do for this go around.
Susan?
Yeah, we need to get a lot of information from CEC, which always takes a while to connect. A lot of it always came from them because they have all the stats, and they're very aware of all the needs. So trying to think who's the president now? Olympia. She has
Naomi is still the president.
Oh, Naomi. Yeah. So if you could contact Naomi really soon about getting information from them, particularly on updating, and they'll know what changes have been made, within particularly District 1.
Yeah. So just in terms of the what the school should be, we had taken this position that it should be, and we voted on it that it should be the middle school, but just in terms, so for the district needs statement, useful information, or we're only talking about updated information, is about the need for the dyslexia school, if that's what, one thing you might consider to try to get from Naomi. or from the CEC.
Okay.
So that would be really helpful. So now, or not even a need for a school, but like the number of kids with dyslexia, or the percentage, or something like that. The extent of the problem.
Yeah. I mean, we can work on that. There's the complexity is that there is no universal screener in New York City, even for dyslexia. However, there are national statistics that I can get around dyslexia, and then
we
don't want that.
Shirley, we don't want national statistics.
I know,
We
but
want-
the problem is we don't have local statistics because we don't have a screener in place.
So then,
okay,
then we won't have them.
However, Margaret Chen and Gigi Lee got a space in the old Grand Union where they're putting in a school, and it's a dyslexia school. And there's one other school, it's a charter school in Staten Island that deals specifically with dyslexia. It's a, quote unquote public school, but we don't really have data because it's a complicated political issue. But I think with Mayor Adams' push for dyslexia screener, we could probably make a case. But unfortunately, we don't have any. Well, I mean, I could try to find local data. It would be, I guess I could. I mean, I think Deborah and I could around Stephen Gaynor and like all the private schools where kids go that have dyslexia. So we could.
Okay.
Data. Sorry, I'm just thinking.
Shirley, why don't you and me and Thomas sort of connect, and we can sort of try to figure out how to get these ducks in a row.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's different ducks. But this is the DNS duck. Okay. Only one of the ducks. Okay. All right. I haven't worked on the youth thing yet, but I will. And we got homelessness, we got
I sent you that.
Health. Yeah, you just sent that. We're gonna get education, youth. Oh, seniors.
Carmen.
Is Carmen here?
She's coming back.
Okay. Hi, Carmen. Talking about did you get a chance to look at the senior section, the senior citizen section of district needs, and just highlight the areas?
Quite honestly, there was a situation happening at the job, so I really wasn't able to take a good look at it. But I will tomorrow, actually.
Okay, great. Yeah, so as we said, all you need to do is highlight the areas that you feel need updating, and then just email it to me and Susan. Okay, all right. All right, so I think we have nothing else on this, right?
I think Olympia is trying to raise her hand about the district needs.
Olympia?
Thank you. So I just wanted to know if we have universal after school as a need.
We're just beginning to write the district needs. We haven't done budget priorities or anything yet.
So I just wanted to lift this up because I heard you talking about the dyslexia issue. It is a huge issue in our neighborhood that we don't have universal free after school for our schools. And it really contributes to segregation of schools.
Okay. So I would suggest that's the kind of thing that Naomi always discussed with us. So, maybe she can give us some good language and statistics on that.
Okay, so can we get that from her or Olympia? Or do you know the language?
I'm happy to send an email to Naomi and ask her if they have already language. Otherwise, I'm also happy to contribute language.
Okay, so there's language that the district needs, and then we need some numbers. And if there's a budget priority to be asked for, from the city, that's during the budget priorities part, which we're not talking about today yet. Okay. All right, so all right. Okay, so can we move on to our, we're near the end. Okay, and we're going to move on to our next agenda item, which is CAB reports or CEC reports. Has anyone been to a CAB meeting or a CEC meeting? Larissa, did you go to Gouverneur?
Yes, we had the Gouverneur meeting. A lot of the meeting was surrounded our community report. I delivered at the CRC meeting the updated information on what activities have been going on with Gouverneur, accomplishments, needs, etc. And it was very well received, very well written. We have the hospital has improved their Press Ganey scores, which is their patient satisfaction scores. They are still working on and receptive to information about timeliness of appointments, being able to get to your provider, and also communication coming from the hospital to patients. One item of particular need was better communication for the patients to receive their second booster shot, because they do have quite a few elderly who are there and vulnerable populations. So they are working on better ways of communicating with them, as well as communicating services that are available at Gouverneur. So we are working with a new director of communications with Health and Hospitals to find better avenues to reach out to the community with education and information.
Okay, thanks. Any other hospitals? DHS facilities?
No, I didn't have any meetings.
No, they haven't met in a while. I have not been to a CEC meeting. And I'm not sure if Laura has been either.
So one actually good update I could give. We have been trying for like 6 months to get Laura appointed as the Bellevue rep from CB3. And I think the new borough president's office has finally contacted them. You know, this is a carryover from the last one. So we're still working on that. We still don't have her officially appointed, but I'm beginning to be hopeful it might happen.
Okay, great. All right.
And Meg, could I just give a little bit of a general 2-sentence announcement about the district needs?
Sure.
So generally, before we actually are hopping on early this year, which is a great thing. Generally, we review what is needed or what it should be in the district needs. And I just want to remind people that what we want to do is assess our needs, what we have and don't have, and then pathways to meet our needs, which could be programs. Generally, our programs are facilities, but we don't want to have a policy paper. So, you know, I think it's very easy for us to start arguing for policy. And I just want to remind people that it is not a policy paper. It's how do we get to a pathway to meet how our needs, our unmet needs.
Right, yeah. So if any of you have experience writing grant proposals, you know, it's like the first section where they say, state the need. That's all we're doing. Okay, thanks, Susan. Is there any announcements or new business that you wish to share? I don't see anything.
So the only new business is they just announced that unfortunately the board guidelines voted to raise the rents and many people are very upset. So that's a preliminary vote. So maybe as a board, we may want to say something because it may contribute to homelessness, you know.
You mean the rent guideline board?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But that was a preliminary vote. The final vote is going to be in June. It happened just now.
Okay. Thanks, Olympia. All right.
I want to say Jin Zhang had her hand raised since about 8:18 and was not acknowledged. I'm not sure if she still wanted to speak.
We were just doing the committee stuff. That's why I believe.
Yeah. All right. So are we ready to adjourn? Or okay, well, we're actually about pretty much ready to end. But since you mentioned it, I just see Jin Zhang now. Jin Zhang, did you want us? Larissa, can you get the timer up?
Sure, give me just a moment. I'll pick
Okay,
that
for
up.
Jin Zhang.
Yes. Okay, you should be able to see it now.
Okay. Okay, Jin Zhang, if you're still there, please speak now.
She probably left, he or she.
Okay, yeah, it's all right. Yeah, that
She
may
be
be
having. I'm gonna go ahead and see if she's having. I'm gonna reach out to her and see if she's having any issues. Jen, can you unmute? No, she's not responding.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Larissa. Thank you very much for trying. Okay, so we are ready to take the last roll call vote. Thomas.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, Thomas. Okay,
Jin's
go ahead.
here. Jin's here.
Hi,
Jin's
yes,
here.
I'm sorry. Yes, I'm here. I just,
Oh, 1 minute, a timer, Larissa.
Yep, coming up.
sorry.
No worries.
I haven't been on mute. I cannot do the unmute.
Okay, go ahead. You're on.
Okay.
2 minutes.
Yeah, thank you so much for letting me to speak up. I'm talking, actually, you know what, my name is Jing, and I'm the resident of down the East Broadway. And reason why we are very concerning about the light on East Broadway. We have the community board 3 has existing four of the shelters, and it's already put more than 1,600 people in. And then East Broadway, we have 3 of that's called drug facility. And you know, it's kind of terrible in the East Broadway. When I go home after 7 p.m., it's kind of danger. So we really need the board to represent our community, the people, to stand up to talk to the city mayor, discussion that to remove the 91 East Broadway to be the shelter. And thank you so much.
Okay, thank you for your comments.
Yes.
Oh, okay, we're gonna do the last roll call vote.
Yep.
Yep, okay, let's go.
Mei Lee.
Yes,
Thomas.
here.
Here. Shirley.
Yes.
Deborah.
Present.
Alicia.
Yes.
Larissa.
Present.
David,
Here.
Heidi,
Yes.
and Carmen.
Yes.
Okay, that concludes our roll call.
All right, the meeting is adjourned. Okay, so we all have our
Good
homework
evening, everybody.
assignments. Good evening. Have a nice night and see you at full board.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.